there's the dictionary definition of making it up as you go along. But for me, I think it's about the relationship between the people you're playing with.
It's trying to not fall back on your muscle memory and your cliches that you've learned. For example, when we started the gig today, there was a pause where we were all being very polite and waiting for somebody to start. But it was good, because sometimes when everybody jumps in, nobody's really listening.
So sometimes you'll play, and if it's a more straight ahead jazz context, actually it's more about how you play the rhythms, how you play the chord changes, what kind of melodies you come up with. Some people, it's about how you control the rage and the fire and the passion, and how you shape something where there are no rules at all. And it's not even about there being rules or strategies, or it's about the fact that some people, they just play and you just have to keep up, and then you have to learn how to make your voice heard within that. And in some ways that's true in, even if it's something that's very straight ahead and simple, standard jazz repertoire, but it's always about those relationships with people, how people approach what you're doing. And it's about the fact that that's an ongoing thing as well. It's not just here's a relationship, here's a relationship. That relationship changes as you play, and it's about it's terrifying at times, it's utterly exhilarating at other times, but it's always interesting because it's about the people you're playing with and the relationship with the room and the audience that makes something special or not special, but hopefully special.
When musicians play together on the stage, feel the same emotion, the same sounds, the build music. It's perfect.
I sometimes think of my favourite musicians. So people like Miles Davis, Wayne Shorter, drummers, Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, the jazz drummers, but there are also people like Lewis Maholo, who's a South African drummer, and Tony Oxley, who's a great improviser and also a great jazz player. So, and just generally music, trying to find your own path, because you can be influenced by people, but you're not them, and we all have different experiences. And I've always believed that, especially within improvisation, we should be trying to bring our own point of view to the music.
Many groups and musicians, from Canterbury's and Rock in Opposition, Henry Cow, Fred Frith, Chris Cutler, of course.
Okay, for me, I studied mathematics at university and at school, and I get a lot of very often people ask me, about the connection between mathematics and music. Although there is a very deep connections in lots of ways, because it's really all just about patterns. But the practice of music feels more to me like a language.
Plays standard tunes with a form, but he's always listening and it's always new. So that's a balance. But you can go from extremes. Today was much more improvised, and I've got another gig coming up where I'm meant to be reading music and I'm not a good reader. So that's filling me with fear.
Differences between learned music and improvising music is kind of vocabulary. So if you're playing learned music, you're essentially tied to the notes that are on the stave. It's an interpretive art. It's like reading a book, whereas an improvisation is like having a conversation. And there's some people say they're terrified of improvising, they can't do it. It's just that they haven't spent time in conversation. They've been sitting there with their books, reading them, even if they're reading them out loud. But it's about that. It's about that immediacy and about those ideas. They're both valid. You know, reading a poem is a beautiful thing, and not everyone can do it very well. But for me, that's how it feels. Learned music is interpreting someone else's music or something maybe you played before, whereas improvising is very much about conversation. Sometimes it's an argument, sometimes it's a lullaby, but that's what it feels like to me anyway.